It is no work, no pay to lecturers in public universities in Nigeria who have embarked on strike. That is the message from Nigeria's federal government. I am Abulu Osemuaghu. Welcome to your #1 labor program from Africa to the rest of the world, the Tripartite, the worker, employer, and government roundtable. Now we'll bring you details of why the lecturers in Nigerian universities are going on strike. We will also let you know that the non-teaching staff in the universities are also planning to ground activities. Today's program is really focused on the tertiary institutions in Nigeria and their workers. We will let you know that the entry-exit system in the European Union has started. What do you need to know if you intend to travel to the European countries in the coming days?
Did you know that France, Denmark, Germany, Greece, Italy, Norway, Netherlands, Switzerland, and more EU countries are set to change how non-EU nationals cross borders? Everything you need to know about the new entry-exit system. Did you know brings you details as obtained from Travels and Tours. Starting the 12th of October, 2025, a major shift will take place at European borders, impacting how non-EU nationals, including travelers from around the world, cross into the Schengen area and other EU countries. A long-anticipated change, the entry-exit system, EES, is being introduced to modernize and streamline border control procedures across the European Union. This transformative system will replace the traditional manual passport stamping process and introduce biometric data collection for all non-EU nationals entering and exiting Europe. And, now, here's everything you need to know about the new system and how it will impact your travel experience. The Entry-Exit System, EES, is a new digital border management system that aims to enhance border security, reduce illegal overstays, and facilitate the smoother movement of non-EU nationals. The system collects and stores biometric data, such as fingerprints and facial images, from travelers crossing into or out of the European Union. This data will be stored for up to 3 years and will replace the need for manual passport stamps, making border control more efficient and secure. The system is part of the EU's broader efforts to modernize border security and address growing concerns about identity fraud, overstays, and illegal immigration. It will also help authorities track the movements of non-EU nationals more accurately, providing a digital record of entries and exits. How will the EES impact non-EU nationals? For non-EU nationals, the implementation of the EES will significantly affect the border crossing experience. Starting in October 2025, all non-EU nationals, including tourists, business travelers, and those in transit, will need to submit biometric data when entering or exiting EU and Schengen area countries. The biometric data will include fingerprints and facial photographs, which will be collected at dedicated booths or self-service kiosks at borders. Changes at border crossings: travelers will no longer need to go through the manual passport stamping process, which has been a staple of border control for decades. Instead, biometric data will be collected electronically, allowing for quicker processing times. On arrival, non-EU nationals will provide their biometric data, which will then be stored in the system. When exiting, the system will automatically verify the traveler's identity and departure time, helping to eliminate the risk of overstays or missed departures. The data collected will be used to verify the identity of travelers during their stay and ensure that they comply with the Schengen area rule of staying a maximum of 90 days within a 180-day period. By recording entry and exit times more accurately, the EES will reduce the number of overstays, helping authorities better manage non-EU nationals' movements. Impact on travelers. Faster processing or delays. One of the most significant questions surrounding the introduction of the EES is whether it will speed up or slow down border control procedures for non-EU nationals. While the system aims to streamline the process, the reality is that travelers may experience longer wait times in the initial stages. Did you know
My name is Mohammed Megardi Gadi, the Minister of Labor and Employment. You are watching the Tripartite program on AIT.
Now let's feed you with labor stories shaping the world of work.
The world are headed to the International Court of Justice for hearings on the right to strike this week. The case began after the ILO employers group, backed by corporate interests, launched an attack on the right to strike by contesting the long-established understanding that strikes are covered by ILO Convention 87. Marcelo Di Stefano from PSI member union APUBA, divided by Fatun, Argentina, is part of the ITUC delegation at the hearings, said this is a historic and decisive debate for the defense of human rights at work and the full exercise of freedom of association throughout the world. The hearings saw 12 countries speak in favor of the global labor movement position, and just 4 speak against. Workers at 15 airports across Korea have been on strike this month demanding more rest days, better pay, and a safer working environment. The Korean Public Service and Transport Workers Union said, "Our demand is the minimal conditions of a safe workplace and a safe airport." South Korean President Lee Jae-myung, who won election in June following an attempted coup which the country's labor movement helped prevent, held a meeting on October 15 with the state-owned airport company to address the union's demands. Home care workers in Manitoba, Canada, have won a significant victory through their union CUPE, securing comprehensive benefits including pension, disability coverage, extended health benefits, and life insurance after years of advocacy. The improvements build on earlier collective bargaining gains, including mileage increases, elimination of unpaid work time, paid sick days, and wage standardization. The UK's Migration Advisory Committee has published a new report listing 82 mid-skilled occupations that will qualify for temporary work visas under a proposed migration pathway, aimed at addressing the country's labor shortages. Commissioned by the Home Office, the report identifies key roles essential to strengthening the UK's critical infrastructure as part of wider government efforts to manage net migration while sustaining economic growth. In the report released Thursday, 9th October, Brian Bell, MAC Chair, recommended that the visa durations be between 3 to 5 years, but noted that the committee supports in-country switching to higher skilled roles within the skilled worker route to encourage progression. Bell said the committee also recommended that English language requirements be no lower than B1. Research by Industry ALL entitled Exploring the DRC Cobalt Value Chain. Challenges, Opportunities, and stakeholder engagement confirms the conditions that women artisanal miners work in and around cobalt and copper mining sites in harsh conditions on unsustainable artisanal exploitation zones with inadequate sanitation. According to Industry ALL, in their work, they very often use dirty water, which makes them particularly vulnerable to diseases such as urogenital infections, skin diseases, vaginal mycoses, warts, and irregular menstruation. In addition, women are often victims of discrimination, intimidation, and gender-based violence due to prejudices and stereotypes related to harmful cultural practices. Over 3,000 contract facility cleaners engaged by the Federal Capital Territory Administration have embarked on an indefinite strike over the non-payment of their salaries for more than 9 months. The strike has crippled cleaning services across government ministries, departments, and agencies in the nation's capital. The industrial action, which began on the 25th of September 2025, followed several unresolved complaints and warning notices issued by the contractors under the Association of FCT Solid Waste and Cleaning Contractors to the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, the unit responsible for managing the cleaning contracts. In a letter addressed to the AMMC before the commencement of the strike, the association said its members had not been paid since January 2025, despite their continued service to the FCTA. The Oyo state government in southwest Nigeria has rejected calls to increase the retirement age for teachers and civil servants from 60 to 65 years, insisting that such a policy would limit job opportunities for young graduates in the state. The federal government had earlier approved a similar age extension for clinically skilled health workers, citing the need to retain experienced professionals to strengthen healthcare delivery and enhance training capacity. However, in Ekiti State in the southwest, the government has extended teachers' retirement age by 5 years. At the 2025 International Teachers' Day, the Nigeria Union of Teachers president, Titus Amba, remind the government that only 22 out of 36 states plus the FCT have approved 65 years retirement age for teachers or 40 years of service. And that is all for now. Enjoy the rest of the program and see you next time.
I am Honorable Minister, State, Labour and Employment, and I'm watching Tripartite on AIT.
Welcome back. Now, the universities in Nigeria are grounded following strikes and protests by both academic and non-academic staff union. We will bring you bits and pieces of what the workers have to say and why they are on strike, and what the government is saying on how to resolve the strike.
The federal government raised our members' hopes in resolving the lingering issues before we held the August NEC in Sokoto by asking for 3 weeks of grace to sort out things. It was a hard sell, but the leadership managed to convince NEC to exercise a little more patience. The pre-Udus NEC hope was dashed without a blink Friday last week. Government agents have again been pleading for more time since the expiry of the 3-week promised, with nothing concrete for ASU leadership to take to its members. Why will a government that has been talking to the union for more than a year through the negotiating team now resort to an emergency to resolve the issues? Is it not a demonstration of bad faith that the government will rubbish wholesale a draft agreement package between its representatives, compatriots of the press? It goes without saying that there is nothing sufficient on ground, nothing, I repeat, nothing to stop the implementation of the ASU NEC resolution to embark on a 2-week warning strike at the expiry of the 14 days notice given on the 28th of September 2025. Consequently, all branches of ASU are hereby directed to withdraw their services with effect from midnight, Monday 13th October 2025. The warning strike shall be total, comprehensive, as we had agreed in NEC. Any convention, any treaty that serves the common man, that is worker friendly, they are always willing to disobey or disregard it. So we are asking them to come back through this window to the negotiating table and discuss and resolve these issues with us. If they don't, we are going to meet again after 2 weeks. And when we meet after 2 weeks, we will take an action that will be certainly different from this one. Anybody that has followed the history of this union, they know that we walk like a train. If we leave the station and start the journey, it's difficult to stop us until we get to the next station. And so, while we are ready, the drivers are ready, the train is serviced and ready to take off, we hope that they will not allow us embark on this next leg, which would be total and comprehensive. And that we cannot say when it will end.
Forward, forward, ever, forward, ever. In the struggle for our faith, and
and these are the issues. 1. The negotiation of the FGN-NASU 2009 agreement. This respect to the agreement of NASU and SANU had a major cause that the agreement will have to be reviewed every 3 years. Since 2012, Strident efforts have been made to force the hands of government to cause a review of the agreement. In 2017, the government caused this constitution of a committee for this purpose, which I have mentioned earlier, through Babalakin, Munzali Jibri, Nimi Briggs, and Yayale Ahmed. It has been an unending exercise. For 8 years, we have rigmarole with no end in sight to renegotiation exercise, which could have been concluded in a maximum of 3 months. This is the longest renegotiation in the history of any negotiation anywhere in the world. 8 years, you are renegotiating what? Just 5 issues? This is not acceptable to us again. And of course, we've mentioned the unjust allocation of 50 billion, payment of work salaries, non-payment of third-party deductions. In conclusion, in view of the above highlighted issues, we have consistently made cases with government for the resolution of these issues. While we acknowledge the recent steps by the Federal Ministry of Education towards de-escalating the issues, we are not convinced that the efforts are sufficient to resolve the issues. While we had earlier resolved to embark on a strike action, the recent step by ministry has caused reasons to review our position by instead of embarking on national protests. It would have been a full-blown strike from today.
We have given 1 week strike notice, and magnanimously we extended it with another 2 weeks, and the 2 week has ended, and that is why we are on this protest. The protest has to do with, first of all, the 50 billion naira and allowances that were evenly distributed. We have our agreement in 2022 signifying that this money will be distributed to all the workers in the university. But when the money came on board, it was attributed to only one union, and the jack of NASU and SANU, as we stand here today, only 20% was given to us, which is not good at all. And apart from that, our counterpart in inter-university centers were excluded. Meanwhile, in the signed agreement, they were included, but the government excluded them. So this is part of the agitations. And we are equally talking to government that the 2009 agreement is overdue for renegotiation. The government constituted a committee and they never allowed the committee to work. We are just hearing of recent from the press briefing of the Honorable Minister of Education that they are going to send recommendation to Yayale Ahmed committee. Are they supposed to send recommendation to the committee? The committee is expected to meet with all the union involved, table their grievances, and look at the contestation. It is the duty of the committee to send a report to the government. If the government is giving the committee recommendation, then who does the approval? You who has the capacity to do the approval will wait for what the committee has been able to do. Then you look at it and give approval, and not that the committee are supposed to give you recommendation. You are not supposed to be the one to give the committee recommendation. It means that you are telling the committee, this is the way we want you to go. It is not good at all. Then another area of agitation is 25% and 35% salary award that was given to us by government. It was not negotiated, and the arrears are still outstanding. We're asking you, please pay all this money.
To finalize a component of the condition of service that ASU had proposed. We'll be working to finalize our counter offer to them, and hopefully by the end of today or latest by tomorrow, the Alhaji Yayale Ahmed Federal Government Tertiary Institution Expanded Negotiation Committee will receive that counter offer to ASU. I believe they've made Alhaji Yayale Ahmed Committee has made reach out to ASU and the other tertiary institution union to start giving date and time when they will meet. The directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to us is that our children must be in school. We should do everything humanly possible to avert strike. And that's why what we've been working behind the scene. You've seen that we've not been going to the press to talk about every single thing we're doing. People at the highest level of government have been working several hours intensely to get a robust but affordable response back to our trade unions. These are issues that have predated 10, 15 years ago. They've not been surmounted. But this president has given us the political will to resolve these issues once and for all. In the past, things were done in silos. There were 3 different committees, negotiation committees set up. One for universities, one for polytechnics, and one for college of education. And those committees worked in silos. But that's not an efficient way to negotiate. The slight delay that we've had in putting the expanded committee together, we now have one negotiation committee that will talk with all tertiary institutions. That same committee will negotiate with academic and non-academic unions so that they can have a full breadth of what their needs are. And I can tell you today, I've seen all the requests from all these unions at the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. 80% of those requests are about the same. Though the 20% of the requests are based on peculiar needs of the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. We understand that. So this one committee they've started working actually. We inaugurated them on Monday. They had their inaugural meeting yesterday. And Alhaji Ahmed has promised that they will work continuously and expeditiously to get our responses to them and get to a point that we have agreement that we'll sign with them.
Welcome back. Now, this program has several segments, and any of the segments open for sponsorship. We will invite you to partner with us or support any segment, or sponsor any segment. And don't forget to contact us on our social media handles, follow us on our social media handles, subscribe to our channel. Let's do this again next time. I am your host, Abulu Osemuaghu. Stay out of trouble.